Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new Night POV review. In front of us is the new Citroen C4X, to be exact e-C4X. This is the electric version. Now I've tested the C4, which is a hatchback or a compact SUV, and this one's like an uplifted sedan. So the C4X is the sedan, and we have an electric version tonight here. If we unlock the car, you can see the bright LED headlights. Now if I walk to the profile of the car, you can see it's a sedan and it's uplifted, so that's another perk of the C4X. Sitting on 18-inch alloys, the C4 and the C4X have very comfortable suspension. This is a front-wheel drive, 100 kilowatts of power of the electric motor, or 136 horsepower. Inside is a 50 kilowatt-hour battery. 46.8 is usable. If I'm not mistaken, realistically you should get a little bit less than 300 kilometers of range. Now it's starting to rain, so I'm gonna hurry up here. You can see the beautiful LED taillights, and I like the fact that they extend to the side so you can better see the car from the profile. Let's open the cargo space. It's a very generous cargo space. Now you have to push it up to open it all the way. Now there is no light inside, which is kind of odd. Now it has 510 liters of cargo space. If you knock down the seats, 1,360. Now you can see a little bit because of the street lights. Inside there is a pocket here, so there's extra room to store your cables. I have an extra cable for like home charging, which I don't need, but they gave it to me anyway. So I'm gonna keep the key in my pocket as a keyless entry. So let's jump inside. Safety first. Buckle up. Okay, so you can see the interior. Now you have a very bright light here and on the back. Now you have the extra lights here, but you need to turn on the car, so let's do so. Have the heads-up display. It's on a plexiglass piece. It's probably the loudest thing in the car because you can hear the little motor raising it up. And okay, so now let me just turn on the lights for a moment. So you can turn these lights and this one, very nice and bright. Now let me show you the spec sheet, and the car has new packages now, or Citroen has new packages. They're called, the basic one is U, the middle trim is Plus, and then the max trim is this one is Max. So this car price with Metropolitan gray color, wireless phone charger here, and heated front seats. There's the three options. Comes to 43,500 euros. Now there is in Croatia a government incentive for electric cars of 9,000 euros you can deduct, but first you need to pay the full price including the taxes. And it says here 5 years of warranty, but I've checked, there is a 8-year warranty if I'm not mistaken, and 160,000 kilometers on the battery, and I assume drivetrain, so the electric motor. Okay, let's switch these off. You can see the beautiful interior, and before I switch off the lights, I gotta say these comfort seats are amazing. And the Citroen, I remember from the C4 press conference, the emphasis was on cocoon and comfort, so this car is really a recommendation for such a comfortable ride. Let's test the music or the sound system, and I can't decide to use this one on the steering wheel, and then we'll head out. Now I can't play it for too long, I don't want to get a copyright strike, but the system is okay. Maybe not the best music to display that. Okay, so you have a new screen that's nice and fast, and it's the one that's shared now across Citroen, Peugeot, Opel, and Jeep. so it's nice and fast. You can switch to full screen here. Navigation, I haven't hooked up the Apple CarPlay, but I know it works. And let me just see here if I press the 3 fingers. It used to bring you to the app menu, but maybe not. Okay, you have the pull down menu. Now let me see here on this one, maybe, yeah, application driver. So just to show you the energy flow, so you can see the car cut here. There is an option in the digital cockpit as well, and you can see the power consumption here, like some sort of history, and then charging. So I just wanted to show you that. And we shall head out. The car is on, so it's an electric, so no sounds. Let me just show you the back and camera. I've lowered the brightness here. Sorry for the last night point of view review of the Peugeot 2008. It was a high brightness I didn't realize. So the cameras are really nice, and finally HD resolution. Okay, let's start driving. Now there's a very quiet pedestrian warning system. It's like a humming sound or something like that. Like, I'm not sure if you can hear that. It switches off when you speed up. Okay. Now, today, if you're watching my day point of view driving with no talking, it was a very windy day. The wind has settled down a little bit, but it was very windy. And I have to emphasize and say this, I'm really blown away with the soundproof in this car. So it is excellent, and the comfort. These are the two things you notice when you jump into this car and you start driving. It's super comfortable. The seats are super comfortable as well, and the soundproof inside is very good level, especially on the city commute speeds. On the highway, as any car, a lot of wind resistance, is a bit noise, but this car is so good. Even on the highway, it definitely stands out from other cars. So the speed bumps, you don't even feel them. Potholes, manholes, it's a very comfortable ride. So there is an option here if I press B to recuperate. So this adds maximum recuperation. If I switch it off, if I speed and I let go of the acceleration, the car coasts and then starts slightly slowing down, which is good. Now this is the default setting, but if you want to use the brake, so that's the B, for maximum recuperation, you can, and it's great. Now I would personally like Citroen to force the recuperation on max, but I guess they're counting that this would be your first electric car, so you're getting a habit of just coasting when letting go. So the choice is yours. Now this doesn't work fully one pedal. With the recuperation it's almost there, but the car works as a classic automatic. When you stop, it keeps going forward, so you need to apply the brake. And then another con here for the Peugeot and Citroen is there's no auto hold. So when you stop on a traffic light, you have to hold the brake or engage the electronic parking brake. Let's speed up here. So another advantage of this car, I'm sure you know that by now, but because of the battery, the car is heavier and it's better and stable in the bends because of the low center of the gravity, and it just works great. Now another thing I've mentioned in the Peugeot 2008, which has the same setup if you go for the electric version, and it also has a petrol engine that you can get in this car, but I prefer the electric version and the electric motor, because in the petrol, when you start, there's like a short delay before the petrol kicks in and starts moving the car. With this, it's instant. You just go, and the acceleration is instant. Now I'm driving in normal. So you can see here, normal. Now there's an eco, and I never use those in any cars, but this is perfect for light cruising. You don't need too much power, and you're power efficient as well. But if you want more power, you hit the sport, and the car just changes a lot. It's just faster. So it's more responsive to the throttle. It picks up and acts as an EV in the great sense of big acceleration instant. So I love it. This car can be so much fun. And I also have to add that for electric car, let me press here, so the right stock, you press the button. Now I've today driven on the highway, and my power consumption went to 16 kilowatts. I've picked it up with 15, so I'm gonna actually reset it here. So we're gonna see what's my power consumption. I'm just gonna hit it back to the normal. We do have the automatic wipers, but I guess this is like a light rain, so maybe it doesn't pick it up, those small droplets. Now, steering wheel is fairly okay. It's light in the sport mode. Gives you a little bit more feedback. But I like it. I really like the setup of this car. The C4 and the C4X, if you go for the electric version, are such a pleasant EV. Now, I'd like to say that it's worth the price, but the car market, or the EV market, is very competitive. And in this price range, you can buy a lot of EVs. So this is definitely going to compete in the comfort and somewhat technology. I'm not going to mention brands. You all know what I am driving, at least the regular audience. But for those of you who are not looking for a super high-tech car, but just a regular car that's electric, this is it. See, I have to engage the electronic parking brake now because of the red light to rest my foot. But again, then I can hear slightly the leaves outside because it's windy. But such peace and quiet, very stress releasing. I'm driving electric car for more than 2.5 years, and it's great. I mean, I really enjoy. I know it's not for everyone. I'm not saying you should buy an electric car, especially if you don't have a garage. It's no point, economically speaking. But if you do, then you should really consider it. So I respect that people like petrol cars, diesel cars. If I'm talking about combustion engines, I'm choosing always rather the diesel because of the fuel efficiency. But for those of you who like the petrol, I don't mind. I don't care. I'm not gonna divide people or hate other people who don't share my opinion. So moving on with the review. Now, the brakes aren't too aggressive, and you know, they're just the right. The more you press them in, they respond more. So some of the cars, like some German cars, have very sensitive brakes. They are immediately aggressive. This one's not the case. It's just the way most of the cars are. Now, maybe a little con, you can't hear it now, but here and there I can hear the car when I press the brake pedal do a little like a squeak. It's probably some sort of material, maybe touching another one or similar. So here and there is like a little or it sounds like a little animal or like a cat or something. I don't know. It's weird, but it's not that often, so I really don't care. That's something that bothers me. Now, in electric cars, if you're driving without music, because I can play music not to get a copyright strike, and sometimes I do drive without music because I enjoy the sound of the electric motor. It's kind of soothing and relaxing, but you hear a lot of sounds the car's making. So there's some stuff in the back and on the speed bumps or similar, it just makes sounds. So something you got to get used to. But I would say this car is very good. Sometimes I heard a little like resonating or something on the right side, but it's not constant, it's here and there. Now I don't hear anything, which is great, the way I like it. So if you play music, it's also great as well. Now, I've mentioned the seats. This is probably one of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in a budget, or I wouldn't say budget car. This is definitely not a budget car, but in a middle class, this is definitely great. So let's use that little instant acceleration. So it just speeds up nicely. And remember, I am in the normal driving mode. If I switch to sport, okay. But if I switch to sport, it's even faster. Now, there is also a updated version of this car, or of the electric setup. You can go for the 115 kilowatts, and then you can get 156 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken. And we get a bigger battery. It's 54 kilowatts, I think, and then it's usable 50.8. So you get around 320 kilometers of range realistic. So I would personally go for that one. It's like 1,500 euros more expensive than this setup. But yeah, you get a little bit more range and more power. So maybe the downside of that one would be that it's probably using more power. So I'm not sure if that extra battery is actually worth it. But you would actually, but you would enjoy the extra horsepower definitely. But I think this, for most of you, will be just fine. Especially if you're just city commuting and occasionally going for some road trips. Now, talking about charging, onboard charger is 11 kilowatts AC. Just hitting here some big manholes. This one's big. Okay, I felt that one, but the other ones, okay, this one's also bad, but the other one was good. I'm just comparing it to the Peugeot. It was a bit better, but it didn't have multi-link. I haven't checked for this car. I honestly forgot. I felt on the other one it was just banging on with the rear wheels because of the McPherson suspension. Now, what I was saying, okay, AC 11, DC charging is 100 kilowatts, and for a 50 kilowatt battery, it's more than enough. You charge it in half an hour. 100 kilowatts, if it's 50 kilowatts, slow DC charging, DC charging, that's basically an hour and your car is full. But on AC, you know, it's fine. It's like, I don't know, 3.5 hours, maybe 4 tops. Okay, we shall put here to sport because we're getting to the highway. Now you can also see the performance of the LED headlights, which are okay. I think we even have the cornering fog lights. Okay, I'm going to floor it here all the way. It is a little bit uphill, but you know, it's pretty solid. This is the max speed. Now, very windy today. Okay, I shall slow down a little bit so you can hear the soundproof. So around 100 kilometers, it's pretty good. The long beam has engaged. It's pretty good. Hope I'm not blinding the other drivers. Okay, they're complaining. Yeah, it's automatic. Okay, not what I wanted to do. Doesn't matter. I think it's no trucks. Okay, so in this setup, when you press the left stalk, you can see the lane assist. Now, if I engage the cruise control, I can control the distance and I can control the speedometer. Now, very windy today and we have some crosswind, but soundproof in the car is very decent. Now we have some smooth and rough patches of asphalt and we're on winter tires, but mostly the ride comfort is great and it's not too noisy. But today is just so windy here. I can this is an open area on the highway. I can see, I mean, I can hear that the wind is pretty strong. I'm just gonna speed up to 130 so you can hear the wind noise. Okay, it's just, it doesn't do it justice because it's so windy. Now let's hear power consumption on the highway here. Okay. I know the long beam is engaging. Nope. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie or pretend. Oh, there we go. I thought it was supposed to push the left stalk towards the dash, but it's towards you to disengage the automatic long beam. There's like a fence here, but it's not high enough, so the semis or the trucks, lorries, whatever you call them, are flashing back. They're not happy. Power consumption, just to see here, 23 kilowatts. That's quite a lot, but again, crosswind isn't helping, and we did punch it a little bit, so that's not realistic. But I have here the B, so it's 16, the one that we didn't reset. So 16.3, slightly increased, but not too much. Okay, switching here to the other display options. We have the radio station, we have the navigation, which is off, so it doesn't show you where to go, and the digital cockpit. And you can see here the drivetrain, so we're using the juice, and I'm going to press the brake here to disengage the cruise control. So you can see here the green now of the car is slowing down and it's recuperating, so the electric motor is spinning in opposite direction and it is charging the battery. So this is another advantage of EVs, because you recuperate back and you slightly extend your range, but in an entire year you might save at least, maybe, I'm not gonna exaggerate, like an entire battery, maybe half. I don't know, actually. I've never did math, to be honest, because in most cars you don't see that information, in some you do, so I just never did the math. But again, it's nice to know that you are returning and not wasting energy, because in the petrol cars you're only charging your 12-volt battery, or 48 if it's a mild hybrid. But if you don't have a larger battery, it's just a waste of energy. But the point I was trying to say is, if you have a internal combustion engine, you can save or generate fuel, like even a little amount. But with electric, you can't. It's completely different physics and philosophy, but it's a nice thing to have. It's one of the advantages. Now I know the ranges are not comparable, and for most people this will be great for city commuting and short distance they're driving, but once or twice, maybe 3 times max, going for summer vacation, maybe winter vacation, or just a road trip, if it's not more than 300 kilometers, you know, or 250, you're good with this. And then if you have a Schuko at home, or at least a wall box, you're saving so much money. If you're charging on a night tariff, or even better, if you have solar roof on your house or your apartment, you can now put them on your balconies, then you are charging your car for free. So you save a lot of money there, because the gas or the diesel is petrol, whatever you call it. What's your poison? It's quite expensive these days in most of the countries. Okay, we shall go to the part where there's no street lights. I'm not sure why the heads-up display is increasing the brightness and then decreasing it. I've kind of tried to like increase it a bit so you guys could see it better on the camera, but let me just decrease it a little bit, because it feels like it's like increasing and decreasing, which is odd. It makes no sense. Again, electronic parking brake. I just wish the car has auto hold, and it would be great if it would just, if you let go of the accelerator, fully stop and wouldn't go forward. So when you decide to go forward, it would go forward. So if it had auto hold, it would be perfect EV, because I love one pedal driving. It's just more natural. You press the accelerator or the gas when you want to go, and then when you want to slow down, you anticipate and you let go, and you're slowing down. You don't have to use the brake, only if it's like an emergency. And it's so much better for your brakes lifetime. So you extend their lifetime, and you wear less your discs and your brake pads. So even better, you're saving on maintenance. And we're talking about maintenance. EVs require less maintenance. You just change the cabin air filters, you change occasionally the brake fluid oil perhaps, but mostly there's nothing else. You need to top up the washer fluid, which is something that's actually doesn't have to do with the maintenance. That's it, yeah. Okay, this car maybe I haven't mentioned, that doesn't have any frunk. I mean, frunk space, if it's not large enough, it's overrated. Then I would say no point of making one if it doesn't have decent space that you can store maybe your cables. But most of people don't like opening the frunk space if they have one, especially if it's not electronically openable, because it's just a hassle, and you know, you don't use it as much. Maybe use it when you go to a road trip and then you want to use the space, but I never use mine. I have mine on my EV. I think it's safe here, so let's just do a stop, and we're gonna punch it. Sport mode. There we go. Okay, brake, acceleration, let go. It's almost 10 seconds, so it's not really fast, but I like the instant acceleration. Okay, it's not nauseous, it's not aggressive, so I guess that's the good part. Still, for some people who are first time experiencing EV, this is also exciting, because it's so much different than the classical engine, which just needs to build the revolutions. Yeah, definitely you saw we have the cornering fog lights. Okay, let me stop here, and this is the GoPro, and I haven't really upgraded it, to be honest. It's a GoPro 9 and has a small sensor, so it's not picking up a lot of light at night. So I'm gonna take out my iPhone and show you the performance. So this is the iPhone 15 Pro, So it has a nice big sensor and picks up a lot of light, so you can see the performance. So this is the performance at night. Really good beam and good long beam, very far. So I just wanted to press the Eco because it says here performance and thermal comfort reduced. So it's possible that it will turn off the AC for the passengers, maybe even for the driver. So this is something you want to use only if you're really at a low state of charge and you don't think you're going to make it to the charging station, or you're going to barely make it. So then you should use the Eco mode. Now another thing that I noticed when I was charging the car, now there is a navigation here, so we're going to test that one out. Now let me see if I can use the voice command. Navigate to Avenue Mall.
Navigating to walls.
Nope. Okay, let me see here. Okay. Let's see if I search for parking garages, maybe. Well, it's giving me a lot of options, just not the one I want. Actually, I think... is this one the one I want? It's not, but let me see here. This one. Ah, that's the one. Drive. So it gives you the options for the routes. So I'm gonna choose the quickest one. Okay, let's if we go back to this one, you can see the power meter, but if we go to the navigation, come on, there you go. Oh, it shows you where to turn and the distance of arrival time. So I thought it would be like a little map, nothing on the head up, so it's kind of odd, but okay. But still, you have it on the big screen there. Now time for our thumbnail. Also, I've charged the car yesterday to like 89%, and overnight I lost only 1%, so not a lot. Okay, some of the also good things that I would like to note about this car. The screen quality is here great, resolution is great. Heads-up display, I wish it was on the windshield, but I wouldn't expect it. And this entry model, perhaps. Steering wheel is very nice, very smooth leather, and I think this is real leather, not artificial. So you have physical buttons, something I like. I like this new shift-by-wire thing, and I love the physical AC controls. That's something that's amazing. I don't like the AC controls on the touchscreens for the most part. In some cars I do. Some cars have very responsive screens, but I still prefer physical knobs in at least the legacy EVs. Okay, parking card here, and there we go. Now here we're in New Zagreb, Avenue Mall, so we have cinema here as well. There's a charging station here. This one's paid, but actually they have a very good prices. I'm not gonna advertise them, but they have good prices if you have their plan. So they have a good price in that case. I've charged on some other public charging stations. They were not the greatest. In last year, the charging prices went up. I'm not sure I can justify those price increases, because the energy market prices went down. There's a guy who's cleaning the garage here, so it might be a little bit noisy when I get out. But we're gonna wrap it up. I think most of the stuff, of course, you have here like charging stations, so it shows you the map. I don't think these are all of those. I mean, all of the charging stations that are available. I know for the fact that there are more, like Lidl, Kaufland, which are actually free, by the way, but they're limited in power because a lot of cab drivers were kind of abusing those. So they're camping on them like repeatedly and changing, so the customers can really get a chance to charge. Yeah, switch this off. Okay, when the light comes on, you know you turn the car off, and there was like this little sound when the plexiglass goes down. Now here you can see the range, percentage, the odometer, and your power consumption. 16.3 kilowatts. It's actually really good. It's not a lot of power consumption, so I think that's okay. It could be lower, but depends again on your driving style. So wrapping up here, excellent car, again, very comfortable and great looking. I do prefer the C4 instead of the C4X, but you have a choice if you like the sedan or a hatchback. Let's turn on the lights so you can see the signature looks amazing. I mean, this car is a beauty, even for the sedan, and I like the fact that it has this lights on the side, even on the front. So this is how the car looks when it locks. When you approach it, it's going to unlock. You can see the turn signals there. So great looking. I haven't shown the charging port here, but it's not really important. You can see that in the full review. It's going to be in a separate video. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. If you have any questions, type them in the comment section below, and see you in the next one. Bye.